What is up, guys? In today's video, we're going to be spectating random players in Fortnite Zero Build. As always, if you guys do find this video helpful or informative, remember to give a like, subscribe if you like to see more, and comment down below which shotgun is your favorite this season and why. I feel like this season has 4 pretty solid choices. The Havoc Pump is definitely my favorite, but I could definitely see any of the shotguns in the current loot pool being like pretty solid with the right playstyle. That isn't always the case in Fortnite. Where can we land this game? Maybe I don't know if Rumble Ruins will have a good amount of people. We'll see. Hopefully we spectate someone trying to get their hands on like the mythic MK. It can be pretty good. Definitely is a solid weapon, and the Insight NPC is here as well, which is a pretty solid hire. They will scan the area every like 45 seconds, I think, and then they also have the explosive repeater since the heavy sniper has been vaulted, and I feel like that makes them a little bit better. They're more likely to just get some explosive damage on somebody than they were hit a snipe. Seems like there's a few people here. No, that was not the play. Okay, nice. No way that's a real person though. Come on. Finally. I think this is an AI. It is. Maybe not, I don't know. It's Iron Maid 20 seems like an AI name to me. They're getting pushed by somebody who just got my crown. Yeah, they're definitely an AI. I don't know what's going on with the person who got my crown though. Like, why can't they just quickly eliminate that bot? There we go, W. Alright, I did not know where to land to actually get eliminated by somebody, but here we are. On board with Michaela MF 420. I'm sure they're going to be cracked at the game. Clearly not under the influence of anything other than these mini shields. They have several MK7s, but will they get their hands on the mythic one? We'll have to find out. People fighting on the other side of the POI. I've never actually landed here. Sometimes I land on the Sun Swoon Lagoon area and then rotate here after getting, you know, loot from there and then eliminating or getting a purple pump. This player did hire the Insight NPC. But I've never actually landed at Rumble Ruins exactly, so I didn't know kind of where to go where people would actually be talking. Seems like they're just going to be fighting the boss. I feel like one awkward thing about getting the Insight NPC is that I feel like now this player kind of feels inclined to fight the boss. That way Insight doesn't die to the NPC. Or Insight doesn't die to the boss. But at the same time, like if there's anybody else in the area, it's like more worthwhile to eliminate them than fight this relic boss. But the mythic MK is quite good. I would definitely recommend getting it, like if you have the ability to, like this, like if it's convenient too. The thing that's like kind of unfortunate for this player now is they have no AR ammo, and I think their shotgun needs to be loaded as well. So if they get third-partied by anybody during this, let's go. I think the Insight NPC got it, but if they get third-partied there, it's like very unfortunate for them. That's why I would much rather just like clear the area before. They got the gloves. I do not think that is a good play. I think these things are terrible. There's not a single time I'd ever want to use them. Like, it makes you invisible somewhat, but if you're moving around, it's still pretty easy for people to see you, I feel like. And then also, it makes a noise. But what he's doing is he's sacrificing it to open that door. That was actually a good play, and you could tell this player lands here much more than I do, because I would have not thought to do that. I've never opened this area, but that is a good play. If you eliminate the boss, not only do you get the mythic MK, but you can sacrifice the gloves to this door. I actually take back what I said. That was actually a very, very good play. I just didn't know that's what they're doing. But yeah, now you get this room with all this loot. Several legendary chests. They didn't pick up the shockwaves that were in the center of the room. I don't know if this player just prefers bunkers or what. I personally would rather have 4 shockwaves than bunkers, especially for pubs. If it was a competitive game, then the bunkers are more sought after, I would say. But in pubs, I think having shockwaves is just really good for pushing players, and it's also very nice because of the prevalence of pump repeater and people just, you know, shooting down on you with the repeater rifle or the explosive repeater rifle. I feel like the shockwaves are the only way to really counter that. So they choose to go for neither and instead go for the flare gun. I do not think that is a good choice. In team game modes, you could make this work. You have more inventory spots to kind of spread things like that amongst your team. But in solos, I think you definitely want the shockwaves or the bunkers. Those would be my first two choices for like a utility item. Flare gun is nice, but it's not something I want to carry as much as bunkers or shockwaves. If this player gets into a bad fight, it's going to be hard for them to like outlive that situation. They can't, you know, use shockwaves to reset. They can't use shockwaves to get height on somebody. They can't use the bunkers to create any sort of cover. And then also, I feel like this flare gun isn't as necessary for this player because they have the insight NPC, which is going to be scanning the area. Like the insight isn't as good as the flare gun, but you already have some sort of scanning. So I would have just much rather seen this player go for like the bunkers or the shockwaves. Like I said, I prefer shockwaves, but either way is fine. And then, like, they don't even have a flare gun now, so it's not even like they're going to get any value from it aside from this AI that they're going to eliminate here. So, yeah, they might end up going back for it, maybe. There is a temple vault near them that they could have rifted from and then gone back into, like, Rumble Ruins area. The llama. Not really anything super high value to get from these in zero build. In build, it's nice for the mats. I mean, they're going to get ammo. Maybe that could be helpful later on. And then also they can get the exotic slap splashes, but it's bugged on the llamas right now and they only drop 2. So it's not even like this player is getting a full stack of them. I think if they fix that and the llama drops a full stack of the exotic slap splashes, then I think the llamas will be quite good. You get a full minute of slap effect from them and 30 HP per like container you use. But as it is now, only having 2 of them is pretty underwhelming. People fighting north, they hear it, they're gonna go for that. This should be a free beam on that player. The mythic MK is just gonna fry this. And it has no recoil. With the MK7, each rarity increase has less recoil than the last, so the mythic MK has less recoil than all of the other ones. This is a kill, 100%. Nice, I almost jinxed them. Are they going to use their slap splashes? I would say use the splashes and then take the shocks. They might be greedy though and go back for some other heals and attempt to hold these, but what are you doing, man? I feel like either way, just do something and get out of here. Just standing around on a body that you just killed is typically not the best play, especially in an area like this that's just open cover, you know? How many times do you hear people fighting and then you start to go to third party it and you get there a little bit after the fight is done, you know? Every time you shoot, there's going to be, everybody in the area is going to know. And so I feel like you want to get what you can from the body and just get out of there because typically there's going to be people coming to third party. They do have the insight NPC. Maybe they just did get a scan and I didn't notice it, but either way, I feel like that's just a good kind of habit to have is when you're done fighting, try to get to a different area. Maybe have line of sight on the area you were just at to see if anybody else goes for that loot. But just standing around on a loot pile, looking at the ground out in the open after you just fought is an easy way to end up back in the pregame lobby. Tristan has good loot though. This has gone well for them thus far, I think. Mythic MK, they have the Sharp Tooth. I personally prefer the Havoc Pump, but like I was saying at the start of the video, I don't think, if someone prefers the Sharp Tooth, I don't think they're wrong. It's really just like kind of like a difference of playstyle and what you value in the weapon. And then they also have a legendary combat SMG, which does a lot of damage. They're going to be going for the combat cache here, and they are going to get it at gold rarity, which is very nice. The player right in front of them in the water too. I'm like pretty sure they saw that. Did they not see that? Oh no. They might have been too tunnel vision on their combat cache, but this is going to give them a gold pump. The slurps are nice. I definitely recommend going for the cache this season if you aren't able to get the vaults. The vaults are a little more inconvenient to get with them spawning randomly. And in an area like the jungle biome, like the Rumble Ruins where this player landed, it's really inconvenient to get to one of the vaults in time. So getting the cache is much higher priority for me this season than it was last, especially with that guaranteed pump corresponding to the rarity you get your cache at. I wasn't like concerned with that last season because of the mythic from the vault. I still think there's another player coming from his cache. I don't think either of those players are the one we saw in the water. Maybe the second player was. But yeah, last season with the vaults, I was always just getting the mythic pump anyways, but this season it's a little more inconvenient to get the vaults. The mythic flapjack isn't, you know, as good as the mythic pump was. But yeah, this player gets very good loot from this. Now they have like top rarity of everything. One thing you can do to try to get your cash at gold, it's pretty hard to get it gold this season because you have such low time and we don't have as much mobility. But one thing you can do is if you're near any of those jungle vaults, the ones that where you open the door and one gives you a rift and the other opens the door, if you're able to be at one of those and just rift as third zone is starting, then you will hopefully be able to land on your cash because they spawn like at third zone. And so if you just rift right away and then you can land on it, typically you're able to get it gold rarity unless it spawns incredibly far away. This player got soaring sprints as well, which is really, really good. It's going to make their shockwaves insane if they soaring sprint shockwave. I actually like this player's odds to win the game. Obviously anything can happen, but they have a lot of good stuff. You know, they have an incredible loadout that got slurps. They got soaring sprints, which is one of the more important augments in the game right now, I think. I think it's the best augment in the game at the moment. Bloodhound is also good if you're using the explosive repeater. He's looking for that player under the bridge, but they drove away. I'm not really sure what he's doing at this point in time. Oh, there's someone. He could jump on this rock and then use that as cover. I think his NPC is getting fried. Or her NPC, sorry. I keep saying him, but I think this player... Is it female based on their name? It's just kind of a habit. Okay, Oof. I said I liked this player's odds to win the game. They've just gone downhill drastically. This fight was messy. I feel like nothing has gone well for them in this fight, and it's over. GG's. And now the Ashen one has all of the good loot. Slurps, shockwaves, mythic MK, gold pump, gold combat SMG if they want it. Yeah, I feel like there's not even really too much to critique there. Like, that fight started kind of well for them. Their bot was getting fried by this player we're currently spectating. And then they had, you know, right shoulder peek and opening shot on this player. And it's still just like they didn't hit enough shots. Shockwave was kind of sloppy. And then, yeah, they just didn't. It doesn't really matter. Like, people... Like, positioning and all that matters in zero build, certainly. But, like, if you can't hit shots, you don't hit shots. And it's just... Like, you're not going to kill your opponent if you don't hit shots, you know? Like, mechanical skill very much matters still. Not sure what this player is doing. They just, you know, gave themselves fall damage. They're probably, like, emoting because they have a spectator, thinking it's the person they just eliminated, but it's me. And it's like, homie, you just took, like, almost 70 fall damage. I don't know what you're being toxic about. Making me want to switch to somebody else, but I kind of want to see this player get the karma they deserve. Unless maybe they just play like this. Okay. But yeah, they probably are taunting the player they just killed, not knowing that it's not that person. Are they going to go for the shockwaves? I think there might have been more shockwaves on that body. I'm not sure, though. I think there was. I was, like, busy trying to talk about, like, what I think the previous player did wrong. Because there isn't just one glaring issue. It's just, like, they didn't hit shots. And it's unfortunate. And it sucks to have that be the thing you take away from a fight. But, like, at the end of the day, it's a shooter, you know? Like... That is a very important aspect of the game. Dude, if this player goes for Island, doesn't seem like anybody else has gone for it yet, so this might just be free for them. Oh, there is somebody here. I just heard them in the house. Unless it was bugged, I'm pretty sure I heard somebody walking on wood, and it seems like this player thinks they heard it as well. I'm not sure. It could have just been bugged though, maybe. Imagine the person pops out now. And then we don't have to watch this emote anymore. That would be great. Oh yeah, there's definitely somebody at the house, I think. Yep. And I told you they would get karma for just emoting. They could have just captured the point, but instead they decided to emote on me and not even the person they killed earlier. Would say feels bad, but it doesn't. Get that mythic MK. There you go. Got future manifest ratting in the house, and it ends up working out for them because we low-key kind of griefed that person by spectating them. Again, this player seems to prefer the flare gun over shockwaves, and I find that to be pretty wild. I know shockwaves can be difficult for some players to use. I've talked about this in so many videos before, but it's one of those things where shockwaves have come and gone from the Fortnite loot pool several times. So like if you've been someone who's avoiding getting used to them, spend a few minutes in creative, practice with it, and then you kind of have that skill set for good. You know, when they come back to the game, it'll be much easier for you to get used to them again. But if you just spend this entire season not using them, not only is it going to be much more difficult for you to play this season, but also if the game ends up in a state where they're super important again, you still don't have that skill. It would be like just refusing to use a shotgun. Like, you could get by with that, but like shotguns have been meta for most of Fortnite, you know? And the flare gun is good, don't get me wrong, but it's like on priority, I think it's definitely below shockwaves, and I think it's definitely below bunkers. Especially for endgame. Gonna open the vault, see if they get any util. I personally don't like going for this vault because it makes it very easy for someone to take height on you, like what just happened here. It's like the moment you go for this, someone always rips, I swear. But I'm not sure what they want out of this vault, unless it was bunkers, because they didn't want shockwaves earlier, and then they have like best rarity of everything else, you know? The flare gun could be helpful here, but shockwaves would also be helpful because they could just get on the roof right away. This might be a kill. Good stuff. GG's. Solid aim there. But if that player just like rifted and went for the house right away, then I think it would have been much harder for this player to play. They have 6 opponents remaining. They're gonna leave island now. But I don't know, like I was saying with shockwaves, you just have so many more options in a fight when you have some sort of mobility. Look at this zone, it's going Citadel. Like, controlling this castle would be helpful. Zone pulls off castle, you can shockwave off. There's so many different things you can do with the mobility to reduce the randomness in a fight. And when endgame does like some weird zones or whatever, you know, or there's like an important spot in zone, having that mobility is very helpful. And then the same is true with bunkers, you know, having a bunker in endgame can be the difference between winning or losing a game. I'm not sure if this player passed up bunkers though, but like the player we saw earlier on in the game did. This is dangerous, bro. You're stressing me out. What are you doing? Zone pulled far. Yeah, zone pulled back towards Rumble Ruins. I'm not... This player just needs to get out of here. That's actually quite a far zone. They're going to be able to get this for the fast... I would use those slap splashes just for the boosted sprint. Because like they have to go somewhat far. And zone will be moving slow at this point in the game. But... Still, I feel like you want to get... You want to get there when you can. Like, they're going fine, it's fine. But like, if they waited until the last possible second to leave Citadel, like zone is moving slow. So if they don't get interrupted on the way to Rumble Ruins, they'd be fine. But you don't give yourself much wiggle room. Not sure what this player wants. I guess they don't really care for the combat SMG. The pistol's fine, but it's like they were looting a while. Like earlier when they like that loot was like really good, you know. Like they went under the vault. Actually, zone is moving faster than I thought. I thought it would be moving hecka slow this late in the game. But this goes to show what I was saying. Even with them leaving when they did, they're still in zone. Imagine if they waited even longer. Because now if they get into a fight in zone, it's going to be rough for them. You should get those coolers. There was coolers at those NPCs. You can get the slap splashes from them, which would be nice. Also, he could have gotten floppers or just straight slap juice. And that also would have given them white heals and potentially... the faster sprint, so like missing out on that time. They shouldn't die to zone here. They do have slurp juice, but again, if you look at what this player did with that like kind of time they wasted, was it worth using a slurp? I don't think so. Like they could have just gotten in a zone, but like they kind of chose to go about things in the slowest possible way. Now there's, I don't know if that player would have heard this crown activate, but if they did, then they might be holding them. Okay, so they get into zone, but they lost a slurp for that. And they gained a gold pistol in that time, which I don't think preferring the gold pistol to the combat SMG is crazy or anything, but it's like, it shouldn't have been the biggest deal. The reason why he's shooting through the tree like that is because he has them pinged with the firework gun. It's just like, unfortunately on spectator, it doesn't show. This person is going up on them. This should be a kill though. This is actually a good situation for the player we're spectating. This should be easy pickings for them. And then there's another player somewhere. But I bet it looks sus when he's just spraying through the tree like that, but it's just because of the firework gun. It's just the diamond doesn't show on spectator for some reason. He took fall damage. Nice. 2 players remain. I'm not sure how I feel about this. I feel like this player's odds of winning this game are actually solid. Like, it's fine, but some of their decisions around zone has been odd to me. But they do seem to be in more of a hurry. I'm not sure where, like, I'm not the most familiar with Rumble Ruins, if there's any shield flowers around here. But they might want to take this slurp prematurely. This is where it kind of stinks that they had to waste one earlier. Because walking around at weak like this isn't ideal, because the fights that are about to happen are going to be the fights that decide the outcome of the game. They have 2 opponents to fight. So, like, the game is going to be decided in a very short time span here. So I feel like you want to be as healthy as possible for that fight. So I think they should maybe prematurely pop this slurp right here. Sounds like these players are kind of trading mid-range shots. I think they're both going to be right in front of him. They want to shoot a firework, like, just straight up to the right a bit. Because now, like, okay, even if he shot that player, that's not good. Because the player to his right was shooting the explosive repeater down at them. And so you want to get damage on that explosive repeater player. Because if he killed that player underneath him, it seemed like that player was already in, like, not good of a situation. They died anyways, but now it's a 1v1. I'm not sure if the firework pinged him. I'm not sure how I feel about this play. This is scary. I don't know what's going to happen here. I don't know how I feel about this player. I don't think I have confidence in them. Yeah, it's hard. And this is where shockwaves would be good. Or porta bunkers. You could reset this fight. Whereas now, bad timing, bad positioning, game's over. He lives, but he's going to have 50 health and 50 over shield, and that's it. There might be some shield flowers around here, bottom of this hill. Imagine he dies to the bees. Oh, he has the Mud Warrior perk, I think, to heal. That's clutch for them. That's actually very helpful. I think they can heal to 150 off that. They could kill this dinosaur and get meat as well. But again, they're going to have to give away their position. Oh, shoot. The dino killed their cover. They're in a better spot now than I thought they were going to be, but it's still just, like, hard for them to play this endgame versus this player, because, like, that other player's just chilling up there. And if that player up top had a little bit better aim, this game would have been over already. That's why bunkers and shockwaves can be so crucial in zero build. Oh, he might actually eliminate them. This dino kind of grief, though. He's 120 health now. Zone pulls back his way, but you need to get shots on this guy, man. Get some shots back on them. You can't just play zone. Okay, they'll win this. Okay, this tomato head is kind of lost. GG's. I was gonna say the fact that this player isn't dead yet kind of meant that player is not the most comfortable. But that is gonna be it for today's video. I hope you guys found this helpful, informative, interesting. I actually learned something this game with the vault at the bottom of Rumble Ruins. Opening it with the gloves can actually be a good play. You're not gonna use them, or you probably shouldn't be using them anyways. And let me know down in the comments below which shotgun you think is best this season, and I will see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching.